To everyone who doesn't know me, my name's Alistair Williamson, and I'm the CEO of WYLD Networks. So I've got a small agenda here. I'm going to be talking about WYLD, what we do, but I'm going to do a big deep dive on WYLD Fusion and just talk about what WYLD Fusion is, how we use WYLD Fusion in our network, and how that monetizes the offer that we put to the market, and also talk about WYLD Fusion as a standalone IoT platform. So it's a slight digress from the presentations I've been doing before. The reason being is I'm putting out our quarterly reports in about 9 days' time, which will go through Q3, what we've done in Q3, all the new wins we've had in Q3. So today I just wanted to go re-emphasize what is the WYLD network and then do a deep dive on WYLD Fusion. So the WYLD network, as you know, we're a virtual satellite operator for the Internet of Things. And if you look at our products, we have that make up the solution. We've got WYLD Connect, which is our modules and terminals, and we talk a lot about WYLD Connect modules and WYLD Connect terminals and all the orders that we've built up over the last few months. But WYLD Connect, as you can see on the left-hand side, is a PCB that basically gets integrated into a sensor, and the WYLD Connect terminal is a standalone terminal. And both of those devices either send data to a terrestrial network if a terrestrial network exists. And if there's no terrestrial network, those devices collect data from sensors and sends the data to satellites. Now, the satellite obviously collects that data, sends that data back down to a ground station. The ground station passes that data into WYLD Fusion. Now, WYLD Fusion is a satellite and terrestrial IoT platform and basically provides the device onboarding, the provisioning, the security, tracking, data management, and payment. And then WYLD Fusion basically provides that data that we've collected from those sensors to our customers. Some of our customers have got analytics platforms so they can visualize that data. They have sensor apps, so they can visualize the data on their apps. Then they take an action, and that action could be in agriculture to increase irrigation because there's not enough moisture in the soil that we've measured, or to reduce irrigation, or to go and inspect pipelines if there's a view there's potential corrosion coming along, so they can go and fix the pipelines. But what I want to do today is focus on WYLD Fusion. I think I said about 2 years ago on a turn presentation that WYLD Fusion is the platform that really turns sand into gold. And earlier on today, Darren was talking about IoT platforms, and he referenced two of the large IoT platforms. One was from Microsoft, and the other one was from PTC. But WYLD Fusion itself is an IoT platform. And I'll just explain to you why we developed it. So when we were putting together our complete end-to-end terrestrial and satellite IoT network, we needed an IoT platform. And so we looked around the market. Our intention was to go and basically just buy a platform, a third-party platform. But we went out and had a look, and there were no platforms that supported both terrestrial IoT connectivity and satellite IoT connectivity. So we basically developed the platform ourselves on the back end of a product called Fusion, which is a service bus that we actually own. So we've developed an IoT platform, and I do understand when we went to market why there wasn't a satellite and terrestrial IoT platform available, and mainly because in the terrestrial world, the gateways are static. The base stations are static, and the sensors send data to a static base station. So it's relatively simple. But when it comes to satellite connectivity, well, then the base station is actually 700 kilometers up in the sky, and it's traveling at 24,000 kilometers an hour. So you've got a very fast moving base station. So it's understandable why all of the IoT platforms that are out there in the market really just focus on terrestrial IoT and no one had developed a combined satellite and terrestrial IoT platform until we did so. So I'm going to talk a bit about the fact that the product that we developed, and it's basically vendor agnostic. So we support all types of sensors, whether they come from Fujitsu, whether they come from Siemens or Schlumberger. We are totally agnostic to the type of sensor that's deployed in the field. And that was really important. A lot of these IoT platforms are specific for different types of sensors. Also, when we developed the platform, we developed it as a multi-operator platform. So, we support all operators. So in the satellite world, we support Lacuna, Astrocos, Omnispace. In the terrestrial world, we support all LoRaWAN and 5G NB-IoT networks, whether it's Senet, American Towers. So our platform is multi-operator. And there's 6 key things to the platform. And I'm going to go through them individually. And then I'm going to talk about the fact that we utilize WYLD Fusion as a platform for our own network, but is also a platform that we can sell into the IoT platform market, which is a substantial market. So there's the use of WYLD Fusion in our own network, and there's also the ability to market WYLD Fusion as a combined satellite and terrestrial IoT platform in a much, much larger market. So if we look at the sort of the combined satellite and terrestrial connectivity piece, so we've developed a single platform for both terrestrial and satellite IoT connectivity. And that graphic there basically is a graphic that shows one of the satellites and its location, and it's used for tracking and prediction because obviously it moves. But what we're seeing now is that we're engaging with a new set of customers that have already deployed terrestrial IoT devices. We're actually dealing with one company in Brazil that's got over 1 million terrestrial IoT devices already in the field. They have an IoT platform, but that platform doesn't support satellite connectivity, and they want to roll out WYLD satellite solution. So what they're looking at doing is migrating all of their terrestrial IoT connectivity devices onto WYLD Fusion, and then start to roll out the satellite piece utilizing WYLD networks and the offer we've got in the market at the moment. So we're seeing customers that have existing terrestrial networks looking to migrate their terrestrial networks onto WYLD Fusion to future-proof themselves and to give them a platform that supports their existing terrestrial networks and their future requirements that they're acquiring through WYLD for their satellite connectivity. And of course, we will monetize that. They will pay to migrate all of their terrestrial IoT devices onto WYLD Fusion through a subscription plan. And the whole concept for them is to provide a quality of service to their end users. So their end users, they don't care whether the data comes over a terrestrial network or a satellite network, but they want one portal, one view, one window into collecting that data and then using that data to make informed decisions. And so one part of the end-to-end solution that we've developed is focused on security, and Darren talks a lot about security, and device authorities are a real world leader when it comes to security. So if I give you an example, ExxonMobil put out an RFQ, and the first hurdle you've got to get over is demonstrating to them that you have an end-to-end secure solution. And that's from the sensor to WYLD Connect, to the satellite, to the ground station, to Fusion, and to the solution, which is basically the customer. So we've developed security from sensor all the way through to the solution, coupling WYLD Connect and WYLD Fusion from the physical layer all the way up to the application layer. And it's critically important in being able to demonstrate this to win some of these large RFQs that are currently out there at the moment that are demanding end-to-end security. Now, in the terrestrial space, this security is quite well defined. It's quite well known. We can implement it. I wouldn't say it's simple, but it's understood. But what we've noticed and understood is that when it comes to satellite connectivity, there are some real air gaps in the security that need to be fixed. So we've been developing and have now developed the security enhanced protocol security profiles to fix those air gaps so that we can now go to our customers and talk about providing a complete end-to-end secure solution for both terrestrial connectivity and satellite connectivity. Also talking about scalability and extensibility, and I'll get to the scalability bit first, which is critically important in being able to deliver an IoT platform that can scale. Now, Fusion as a platform, as a service bus, when it was first developed, was developed in conjunction with the UK government, the Home Office, and also the police authorities and the railway infrastructure authorities. So we've developed Fusion with a lot of history of scalability. So our platform can scale up to the tens of millions of devices that can be provisioned and onboarded onto the platform. We've built in some real high availability, redundant servers and clustering and data mining to ensure that we have a platform that's readily scalable and demonstrably scalable for the market. And when it comes to extensibility, one of the principles that we put in place in developing WYLD Fusion was extensibility. And extensibility, if I can use another word, it's about building a platform that you can actually commercialize as a standalone platform to a customer that wishes to build new applications on top of it. So it's a buy to build. So yes, we use WYLD Fusion as our own platform, but we built it with the view in mind that we could monetize WYLD Fusion as a standalone platform to sell it to customers as an IoT platform where they can actually buy our platform and then build upon it. So supporting multiple providers, multiple protocols, a microservice architecture, and totally standards-based. I think one of the key things about WYLD Fusion is the ability to monetize. And as you know, with the WYLD network and our satellite IoT solution that we're delivering at the moment to our customers, we generate revenue from selling terminals and modules. We generate revenue from, that's a fixed revenue, and we generate revenue from access to Fusion, but we also generate revenue from data where our customers are paying us up to $5 per device per month to actually use that data, for us to deliver that data to them. So Fusion is very important in actually monetizing the offer that we put to the market. And so we've built into Fusion the ability to actually build your subscription plans. So as an example here, it's a standard plan of up to 10 users. They want satellite and terrestrial, including an organizational dashboard, satellite tracking and device configuration. They can choose what plan they want. They can choose a monthly plan, an annual subscription plan. And there are literally tens and tens of different types of subscription plans they can subscribe to. They can subscribe to it through Fusion, through WYLD Fusion itself. And also what we've built into it is not just a standard subscription build plan and payment plan, but we've also built into it the ability for some of our smaller customers, and in actual fact, some of our larger customers, to actually use a credit card facility. And so that allows them to basically build up individual plans. They can put add-on features. If they start to run out of data, they can actually start to request additional data. If they want to deploy more terminals or devices into the field, they can go through WYLD Fusion and actually pay for those features on top of their monthly subscription. So it's a very very powerful tool to make sure that we can actually give our customers a clear way of ensuring they can actually build a subscription, pay for a subscription, and WYLD can monetize that $5 per month per device that we've deployed into the field. Now, device provisioning is really quite important because the platform is being built to allow our customers and users to rapidly deploy their devices into the market. So when I talk about deploy their devices into the market, to actually provision their devices once they're deployed into the field. So we've built into the system the ability to basically provision your devices through Fusion and to provision your devices based on the profile of the device and be able to provision thousands of devices in a very short period of time. So I'm talking in minutes to be able to provision those devices. And so once those devices are provisioned, they can then start to send data. With a lot of the tools that we've seen out there, the device provisioning has been extremely painful and takes an awful lot of time. So we've enhanced that to try and reduce the amount of time it takes to provision a device so it's ready to send data, enhance the user experience, but also ensure that we can actually get revenue from the data as quickly as possible. The second thing about doing this, our device provisioning piece, is supporting end-to-end security. So a lot of solutions out there, they provision the device in the field where we're actually provisioning the device through Fusion. So we're encompassing the whole provisioning piece within the whole end-to-end security piece. And my first point that I've got there about driving end-to-end the end-to-end connectivity ecosystem. As I said earlier, we are device agnostic. So we don't care if it's a Siemens sensor, a Fujitsu sensor, a Schlumberger sensor. What we're doing is we're building profiles for all of those sensors. So when you provision the device, you don't need to build a profile. That profile for that device already exists. And what we're going to do is to build that ecosystem into a developer forum so that all the manufacturers of sensors that want to see their sensors being sold will build their profile inside WYLD Fusion. So when the customer wants to provision that device in the field, he can just select a Fujitsu soil moisture sensor. The profile is already built into WYLD Fusion, and we'll be using the sensor manufacturers to build up that ecosystem, that huge database of devices and their profiles. So you'll just be able to drag that device and profile that device and deploy that device with its profile already embedded in Fusion. Now, if we look at the deployment, we've got three types of deployment of WYLD Fusion. There's ground link. And ground link is mainly for small, medium-sized businesses. So it's a managed service. So we host Fusion, and we've got a containerized platform that allows multiple customers to build their own instances of WYLD Fusion. Here's an example of a dashboard. This is an organization. What I see, it's got about 115 active devices on it. It's got about 5,788 messages left on its subscription plan. So this is the portal that the customer can actually see, and he can look at how much data he's got left. So when he starts to run out of data, he can order more data or change his plan. He can also look at actionable passes, so he can see the window in which he can actually deliver data. I think this device is probably in London. As you can see, there's a 4-minute window from where he can actually deliver data to that satellite before that satellite passes over. So that's a managed service instance of a deployment. But when it comes to larger customers, they want to host both the ground link and Fusion on their own premise. So this is an on-premise deployment of Fusion. So our larger customers are really looking at deploying Fusion within their own infrastructure. So it's not a managed service. They're managing the service themselves. So exactly the same thing you can see from this customer. They got 4 departments. They got 54 active users. That's people on the network, and they've got about 10,145 devices in the field, and they've got about 12,765 messages left remaining from their subscription plan. So these guys better quickly start to get back on the network onto Fusion and start to order some more data. We also have developed a white label version of Fusion because we do have customers, and this is one in Brazil. It's Constanta as a customer of ours, and they're a reseller. And so what they want to do is to be able to resell the WYLD network solution, our products, hardware, but also our data service to their customers. So we've white labeled the solution for them, so their customers see Constanta as their first, as their provider of the service rather than WYLD Fusion. So there's 3 types of deployment: managed service through GroundLink, enterprise solution for some of our larger customers, and a white label solution for our resellers. So in respect to the product roadmap, as you know, we were or we are using WYLD Fusion as an infrastructure, as a solution. And that's basically utilizing WYLD Fusion as our own platform to support our own network to provision, onboard, and charge our customers for using our service and our data. So we're using that platform ourselves as our own solution, but also I talked a bit earlier about buy to build. We also have got another revenue stream that we're going to be launching, and that is basically launching WYLD Fusion as a platform to other companies that wish to build their own application on top of WYLD Fusion. And that'll be a licensable product we will offer. It'll be provider agnostic, and it'll be an extensible platform. That is, that our customers can also build their own applications on top of WYLD Fusion for their own requirements. And the other thing we're doing, in one of the slides, you may have seen the output from one of the devices, which was basically just raw data. We're building into the solution our own business intelligence as an add-on, which we will then sell to our customers, which will visualize that data. So it will allow the customer that doesn't have his own analytics tool to build his own scripts within Fusion to do his own data analytics and visualization on the platform itself. So coming back to WYLD Fusion as an IoT platform, yes, we developed it for our own network, and we've started to deliver, as you know, we've started to deliver products in October. And as you've seen from some of the slides, we've got a lot of data actually running through WYLD Fusion. So we're utilizing it as our own platform. But as I said, we're also looking to monetize WYLD Fusion as an IoT platform. And just to give you an idea of the size of the market, today the size of the IoT platform market's about $8 billion US, and looking to grow to over $17 billion US by 2028. It's a very large market. And when you look at that market, the top players in the market are Siemens, PTC, SAP, IBM, and Microsoft. In actual fact, Darren mentioned PTC and Microsoft as IoT platform vendors. But they currently support terrestrial IoT solutions. They don't actually support satellite connectivity, satellite prediction, satellite monitoring, satellite collection, and they don't support any open standards for satellite providers. At this time, there's only WYLD that's actually developed an IoT platform that addresses both satellite and terrestrial IoT connectivity. So, in summary, we continue to use WYLD Fusion as a platform to support the WYLD network. That's our terrestrial and satellite IoT solution. We started delivery of hardware products in October this year. We're delivering data through Fusion at this moment in time, and that's starting to grow quite significantly. But we're also looking at another revenue stream where we'll be monetizing WYLD Fusion as a buy and build IoT platform supporting satellite and terrestrial IoT connectivity. So hopefully that's given you an insight and an update on where we are, and happy to take any questions.